How are we going, everybody? I've been doing a little bit of gardening today, a little bit, about 3 or 4 hours, and I cleaned this area out. This is where we had the kale just growing out of control, going to seed, and we harvested what we needed from it and turned the soil over. And I thought I'd just run you through what I've done with this bed, because in the past, I've actually used the entire width of the bed, about 2.5 metres wide. Just over 2 metres, 2.2 I think it is. Anyway, and the problem I had was getting into the middle. I never created pathways. Now, I've always been caught between the two options of, companion planting, so mixing your plants up, and, almost farming style of gardening, monoculture, so you put all your tomatoes in one row. The first year I put all my tomatoes in one row, had a great crop, but I also covered them. But we're going to do the same thing this year. That is cover them with bird netting or insect netting. That small reduction in heat or direct sunlight makes a world of difference in the health and the longevity of the plant. So that was okay. The second year I scattered them around. Wasn't as successful. Third year I created these beds, and they were great, but still just too hard to access. So this time around, I've decided to create little crazy pathways. Now, I was tossing between a straight line, symmetrical, and, something just free-flowing. And I thought about, and this is part of the whole microclimate in your garden, the dynamics of the surrounding properties, if you like, trees. Always factor in when it comes to planting out your garden, what you want to plant and the location. Because what happens is, and for example, that wall there, that's I'll just use my pathway to get here. This wall here, folks, it's crazy. Come down here, have a look at this. Now, it's bare at the moment, so you can see the pathway. Nothing fancy, but what I'm getting at here is that I'm creating layers or tiers, tearing it down. That's just an example, the silver beet, showing you the height, but that's not going to stay there forever. What we've got on either side of it are tomato plants, sort of in the background, and because the sun sets behind me, I've actually planted lettuce, and I left a couple of kale plants there as well. Now they'll get a shadow, they'll be cast a shadow by the tomato plants. These are potatoes in front that we've got growing, so they'll sit lower. And in this corner here, we put a zucchini. That's going to take up all this space. It looks crazy, it's only one. Normally you'd say every 30, 40 centimetres. I don't need that. One plant here, one plant right behind me over here in this space, and I guarantee you that's going to lean out into my pathway, which at the end I'm going to mulch up as well. Don't leave it exposed like this. I've only done this so you can see the pathway. You need to mulch it over the top. Reason being is it will dehydrate quicker than the surrounding soil. So moisture here, dry here, it will act like a sponge and it'll suck the water out. And you don't want to hydrate this area if you're going to leave it exposed. So it'll cause it to dry out a lot quicker, even if you've got the mulch over the top. And how did I prepare the bed? Well, the traditional digging over. You can do a no-dig garden if you have no weeds, you haven't got hard soil, you've got good aeration, you've got organic matter breaking down beautifully. It sounds like I've got none of the above, which is pretty much the case in these lower beds. Over there, have a look at it. This is what it looks like. Dry as a bone, okay? This hasn't been prepared. The chickens have been in here, they've cleaned it up. I purposely done it, folks. Even though it was annoying the hell out of me, watching them come in and pull out my plants, I know they were cleaning it out for me at the same time. So it's the price I paid for the end of the season, and my spring season's only starting now. That's why it looks like that. Gets turned over with a garden fork, aerated, pull out all the weeds. Then I added the coconut pith or the coconut coir. You can see slight, little bit brown, little brown marks here, just a spillage. I've put that in with our chicken manure, turned it in, black grit, charcoal, worm castings, a small handful in each bed, and then this is basically half a bale of bean straw, not pea straw. I'm using bean straw in this case. And at the end, I haven't liquid fed yet, so the last thing I'm going to do with this, well, not tonight, I'm going to do it in the morning because it's already wet, it's getting too late, is with EK Butch and Liquid Gold. That's going to get a good dressing over the top, and it'll hydrate, activate the bacteria, get it going. And this well, before I forget again, because that's where I started from, right? I had my tomatoes growing on this side. They created a shadow on the eastern side. So my plants on here struggled, that needed more sunlight. So consider when you're planting, which way the sun shines, where the shade is, what plants you want that are going to be taller than the ones that you already got, or underplanting. So work out the height of your plants and put them to the back where they don't cast the shadow. So if you're facing north, put your smaller plants to the front and your taller plants at the back. Unless the plants you want to grow, like I've got my lettuce here, you need them in the shade in the afternoon so they don't bolt. For example, coriander, grow it in the shade, it will love you. So plant it behind a couple of tomato plants, as I've got over here. 4 tomato plants growing in that corner there. These ones here are going to be grown in a U shape. Now, I'm still tossing whether I do a timber frame on its own or get the mesh in there as well. But afterwards, in that section there, I'm going to plant something that doesn't require afternoon sun or too much of it, so it doesn't bolt. So we're casting a little bit of shadow there. On this side here, I'm putting a triangular formation of cucumbers, and I've got a little parsley going on there. I might put another little parsley here. The zucchini plant on its own will be plenty there. I might stick a little bunch of spring onions in these corners, and obviously some little dainty flowers to attract the bees. Last thing, come over here. Now I've put the coconut pith or coir on top here as a little bit of a mulch. Remember, this bed was cracking up on the surface. I can put some pea straw, but I'm just going to leave the coconut coir as a mulch on top. And you can see all the red leg spring onions have already sprouted up, the ones we cut to the ground. Harvested, left the other ones in the ground, and they're happy. But this is not really what I came here for, but I know I just wanted to show you this bed there, but this is what I came for. I was so excited. Do you remember? I don't know if any of you saw it, a week, 2 weeks ago, maybe more, I can't remember exactly. If you scroll through the videos, I had some tomatoes that I allowed to rot outside in the sun, part shade. Then I threw the skins with the dry seeds in here and just tossed it in and walked away from it. Have a look at them all the big malakas, they all come up again. Just when you thought I had none left in the garden to plant, there's another 20 or 30 here. So folks, you know, collecting and allowing your plants to go to seed, 1 or 2 here and there, then allowing them to self-germinate in the garden, it's like having little babies all over again. Nurture them, protect them, divide them, give them the space they need, and all the organic matter they need to feed off as well. Look after your garden, and if you need anything for your garden, you know where to go, folks. That's VasilisGarden.com. We're running specials every day. Check it out at VasilisGarden.com. From me, Vasili Maresi.